Hi guys, it's V, and I have Ellie with me, but you can't really see her. She just ran up here wanting to be with me. So I want to make a few videos today while I have time. I always like to strike while inspiration hits. It's funny because I don't realize sometimes how long it's been since I made a video because things, life happens and things get busy. And right after I brought everything up here into the loft, I think I just went through a time where it was just like, I was so overwhelmed by all the decks around me. So I didn't even know where to start making a video because I wanted to go in like 10 different directions at once. And there's always some excuse. I got to get the big dreadlock out of my hair, or I need to paint my nails, or, whatever. But then when it's time to make a video and you're ready, it doesn't matter what my hair looks like or my nails. It's like, oh, I want to interact with you guys. And that's a lot of the fun of it, is seeing where we connect and all of that. I have just as much fun with the comments afterwards as I do, making the video, which makes me feel a little guilty because I comment so little on people's videos. But I mentioned before, it's because I watch them on the TV. I thought it'd be easier getting my laptop, but I still watch the videos the same way through the TV. So I talk to you guys a lot. You just can't hear what I'm saying because I'm speaking it into air. So anyway, what I'm going to start out with today is I redid my Marielle tarot. Now this is going to seem very blasphemous to some of you because I know how well loved the Marielle is. It seems like a lot of people either really love it or they just don't get it. And I was one of those that loved it but still didn't get it. The book is amazing. You really need to go through the book if you like the artwork and you're using it as a tarot. The book is absolutely amazing, but it still didn't help me be able to use it as a working tarot deck. I have to really connect with the cards. Duh. But if I have to be looking at the title to know, oh, it's that card, then that's a real problem for me. It doesn't flow as easily. So sometimes when I have a deck that I just don't connect with some of the cards, you can cut the titles off and make it into an oracle or just an art deck. And as much as I would go to the Marielle and bring it out when I was having certain issues or when I really felt compelled to look at this artwork, but I just wasn't able to use it as a tarot. So in a live chat a few days ago, Anna Torrin mentioned how she had cut the titles off hers and is using it as an oracle. It's amazing. So I did that. And then I realized that it was connecting with me as a tarot. As soon as I did that, I could lay it down and it was a complete tarot deck, just in a completely different order. So I'm going to go through the order that I put them in, for better or for worse. I doubt if anyone who watches this will agree with all the associations because it's completely a personal thing. I'm showing you how you can do this with a deck that you really connect with, but just not the way it's laid out. I also have, I'll be showing what the card actually is. I put my titled deck in the same order so I could talk about what the differences are. Now with this one, I love the Marielle trimmed and edged. I just love it this way. But the one thing I wish I would have done is do the small corners, because I think sometimes the more serious or artsy a deck is, the round corners, usually with my decks, is a more playful kind of deck. But it's still gorgeous. And when I trimmed this one, I didn't trim the corners at all, thinking it was going to be an art deck, oracle deck that wouldn't get as much use. But I'm actually going to be using this a lot. So I'm going to go back and do the small, because these are very sharp edges. I'm going to do the small corner rounders and re-edge the corners. So here's how I associated them, and you can see how close or far it is from what you would do. Okay, so this is traditionally the death card, and it's my Fool. And I like the Fool that was in this deck. I really did. And I love this as a death card. I did. But in moving them around, it didn't happen like immediately. Like some I immediately put, and some aren't the first choice for what I'd put for that card. But if I switch this, I mean, I spent an entire day, well, not 24 hours, but I'd pick it up and I'd spend a day getting them in the order I wanted. And this landed on my Fool card, and it's because the Fool card to me, and I'm really looking forward to doing the Surrounded by Decks now that I have all my decks up here, like one at a time, because the Fool card for me, it isn't always a young person, you know, it's a step into the unknown, it's taking a leap, and sometimes it's a very small movement, sometimes it's rather large, but this just made me think of the Fool card in a very beautiful, different kind of way. My Magician, okay, out of the 78 cards, 18 of them stayed what they were. And I changed 60 of them. So this is one that stayed. This is definitely the Magician. This is my High Priestess, the Inner Knowledge. I love this card. I think it's a great Queen of Swords. It was the Queen of Swords card, but to me now it's the Empress. I mean, the High Priestess. And because she is the Empress. I love the Empress next to the Emperor. As you can see, I kept the Emperor because that's one of the most badass emperors I have ever seen. This was the Queen of Wands, but she just seemed Empress to me. In my deck, the Empress and the Emperor are going to be, because you know they're memes, it's going to be you create your world, you control your world. Okay, the Hierophant. This is one of my favorites. This was the Five of Discs originally, and that does not look like the Five of Discs to me, although I love this card. He's my Hierophant. And the Hierophant to me is your ethical code and how you live it. And I like how, you know, what's in your heart shows in your life and how you live. So he was just immediately the Hierophant to me. The Lovers stayed the same. How can you not have that for your Lovers card? It's interesting because just recently with readings, the Lovers and the Two of Cups, once you know the meanings, they start to evolve sometimes the more you do readings and how it shows up. And this week it really gelled for me doing a reading for someone. The Two of Cups and the Lovers both showed up in that reading, which was amazing for what she's going through. But it really brought to mind that the Two of Cups to me is, both of them are about choices, you know, and the minor arcane is more day to day, where the major arcane is big life cycles and all that. But what kind of really gelled for me, and this is the way it always comes up in readings for me, is the Two of Cups is it's more day to day, but it's the choices that you make that feel good to your heart. They're conscious choices, whether it's a relationship, be it someone that you just met and you're interested in them, or a friendship that's developing, or a hobby, or a certain artist. But like in the deck that I made for myself, the Two of Cups is you, me, magic. But where the Lovers, it's still choice. It's a big thing. This was my Lovers card. And now my deck is getting more and more poignant because Prince is the is the Page of Wands, and David Bowie and Iman were my Lovers. And it says everything is a choice, which is true. But with the Lovers card, it always tends to come up for me when it's so big and it's so irresistible and meant to be that it doesn't even feel like a choice. It's almost whenever I've gone through a Lover's time in my life or know someone that has, you can't do anything else. You have to do that because it feels like it isn't a choice, even though ultimately it is. In your heart, you feel like I have no choice. So anyway, that's a tangent on that. So there's my Lover's card. This is my Chariot. That's supposed to be the Knight of Swords, and I know that's an eagle, but it just like goes, and I think Chariot. I did leave the Strength card the same. Had to leave the Hermit the same. This was one of my absolute favorite cards when I first saw the deck. The Hermit card is just amazing. One of my favorite Hermit cards ever. This is my Wheel. It was originally the Moon card, but it ended up being my Wheel. justice. The bald eagle for justice. Makes sense. The hangman. Had to keep the hangman the same. It's perfect. Now this one is different. My death card is the Fool. This is my death card. Love it for the death card. The Temperance. Favorite card of the deck. Favorite Temperance card ever. This is why I'm so excited about being able to use this deck now. Because the cards that did sing to me are still there. I just switched around the other ones. The Devil card. Now he is supposed to be, in the original, he's the King of Pentacles. He's so much, sorry if that like weirds anyone out. Let me cover up his quite impressive weenie there. It's crazy. But he's so the devil in his indulgence and decadence, and the devil is irresistible too. It's only when you take it too far that it's bad. So yeah, and Pan, he's my devil. The Tower. Now here's 3 that I changed. My 3 ladies. This is supposed to be the world, but for me, she's the star, she's the moon, and she's the sun. Even though she has a star on her, these 3 ladies are my star, moon, and sun. I love it. And this is my Judgment. This one I was really wondering where to place it until it landed here. It's supposed to be the 7 of Pentacles. I get it, there's 7 Pentacles, but it really felt like Judgment to me. Moving up, what you have to do to, listening to your call to move up to where you're supposed to be. And then what was the Fool is my world. So then we go into the suit of the swords. This is my Ace of Swords. I hate to think of the swords as conflict and bad. I love the suit of swords, but I thought that this was a good, when you're talking about strategy, problem solving, mental clarity, I like this for the Ace. And my 2 of Swords. I did move her around a little bit before I landed here. I like the 2 of Swords because it's a balance that you've only got, there's time on the clock with this balance. You can only hold it for so long. I kept the 3 of Swords the same. This is my 4 of Swords now. I like the 4 of Swords. I see it as an active card. It's a time out. It's a mental time out. But I think that when I'm in a 4 of Swords time, it's not passive. And it's different than the Hermit. You're just needing to get the chatter of everyone else out. I'm looking for the 4 of Swords that I have in my deck, and it's be present. And it's basically just forgetting the past, forgetting the future, and being in that moment. So I like this, and as opposed to what I ended up choosing for my 4 of Cups. I like how both the 4s are very atmospheric, but this is more ennui and a restlessness and unhappiness that you really shouldn't have. So there's my 4 of Swords. Okay, this is my 5 of Swords because it was the 9 of Cups. I love the 9 of Cups. I don't like the 5 of Swords. Don't like monkeys. They freak me out. I know it's not a monkey, it's a baboon or whatever, but they freak me out because they're so smart and they just freak me out. And then the 5 of Swords is like the beast thing. It sucks. There's a checkerboard there. You have to think. You might be being outwitted, or you're gonna have to, get the best of it. But to me, this looked like a perfect 5 of Swords to me. And the 6 of Swords. Makes me wonder. I want to look and see. Wait a second. Let me go to the swords here. This was the Ace of Cups. And I don't know what the 6 of Swords card was, but this is the Ace of Cups. But this is my, it's funny because my Ace of Cups still has like a little portal right there, but it's almost like you can see through to the other side, that journey that I think a lot of times you have help with that journey to a better place. So that's my 6 of Swords. I can't tell you why I picked any of the 7s. I just know in my gut that felt like the right 7. So this is my 7 of Swords. My 8 of Swords, because the 8 of Swords is a very scary card to me. That just felt like the 8 of Swords. I just went straight from my gut. 9 of Swords, nightmares. 10 of Swords. This was a 10 for another suit. Maybe even discs. I can't remember. But to me, it looked like the exact 10 of Swords. There's my Page of Swords. Knight of Swords. Queen of Swords. I love her as the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is such a badass. I like how she's surrounded by the owls, but she's also got a baby because she is a queen. She may be the coldest mother, but she's still a mother. And the King of Swords, I kept him the same. So I used what was the Sun card as my Ace of Wands. There's my Two of Wands. That's what I feel like the Two of Wands is to me. It's kind of frenetic, but you need to focus on which way. There's so much going on there, but you need to focus, which leads to the Three of Wands, that after you focus and the energy is directing in the right way, things start to happen. You're not finished by any means, but you're definitely getting it out there. So I like this being the 2 and then the 3 of Wands. The 4 of Wands, that just looks playful and happy. Liked it. 5 of Wands. 6 of Wands, again with my 7, it just is my 7 of Wands. And that's another one that I think I inverted it. There's one coming up that's upside down for me. 8 of Wands, fast moving. The 9 of Wands. The 10 of Wands. I love this as the 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands to me, you can get overburdened, all these entanglements that twine together, but there's still a way through. It's not that it's horrible, it's just something you have to watch, because it can be very, very draining and involved. Then I do like the quartz that I picked. Here's my Page of Wands, a Knight of Wands. Love this one as the Queen of Wands. And then my King of Wands. So now we're into the cups. What was the World Cup is my Ace of Cups now. That is the Two of Cups. I kept it. Same way with the Three of Cups. And I thought maybe I'd change the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is such an important card to me. That girlfriend's card, your inner circle, that really is your true support group. And I just love the Three of Cups. So the three waterfalls together, I ended up keeping that. There's my 4 of Cups, 5 of Cups. See, the 4 of Cups is perfect for the 5 of Cups for me. The 4 of Cups, you have that sense of ennui, that dissatisfaction. And a lot of times it shouldn't be there. You're not looking at what you have. You're looking at what you don't have or what you thought should have happened. And that can lead you to do something stupid that you'll regret. And then you truly will feel like you're missing out, because you'd have wished that you just appreciated it in the first place. That's the natural progression that usually happens. So this looked like a good 5 of Cups to me. This was the Knight of Pentacles, but I put him as the 6 of Cups. I loved it. It made me think of the Jungle Book and all these stories where the wild things are. It just made me think of childhood. There's again a 7. I can't explain why, but it felt good with the 7 of Cups. My 8 of Cups. That does not look like an obvious choice, but it makes sense to me. And I love her. That's my Cleopatra. It reminded me of the 8 of Cups that I like in my deck. Love will tear us apart. It's so campy and I love it. And with her story and everything between Caesar and Mark Antony, she's my 8 of Cups. 9 of Cups. A unicorn, the wish card. There's my 10 of Cups. It's so watery, and I could think of this as an ace, and I'm going to compare it to my 10 of Cups. My 10 of Pentacles, because the 10 of Cups to me is a real emotional contentment and fulfillment, where the 10 of Pentacles, let's see here, where the 10 of Pentacles to me is that same kind of feeling of contentment and happiness, but in the physical or material realm. So there's my 10 of Cups and there's my 10 of Pentacles, because it doesn't have to mean, like when you look at the Rider-Waite-Smith cards, as much as I love them, the Ten of Cups doesn't have to be the spouse and the 2.5 kids. It's your urban family. It's the family that you make. It's be able to have that sense of contentment and happiness in the relationships you have in your life. And the same way with the Ten of Pentacles. It doesn't mean you won the lottery or you live in grandeur, but you can look around and be happy and grateful for what you have and what you've accomplished and what brought you right there. So yes, I love those cards. And then there's my Page of Cups. The Knight of Cups. I love him as the Knight of Cups. Now the card is supposed to go this way, but I've always seen the card this way. And I think that it's interesting because it also, when I think of the Knight of Cups, he goes with the Hangman to me. So I love it now that in this deck, they look so connected. Love, love, love that. And I kept the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. So there's my Ace of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles. Again, it might not be a fit for everybody, but the Two of Pentacles is a really important card to me right now. And I just think that the Two of Pentacles is such a badass card. You're doing it and you're doing it well. I had mentioned in my last video, my Two of Pents that I love is I've got this. And the way she's like such a boss. And even in the traditional, this is a deck I carry around with me a lot. It's just a Vivitar camera case. Has a back pocket. I can keep my my business cards there. But this is a Delos Tarot. I backed it because the paper's so thin and edged it. It's like the cutest little tarot you could carry around. It is so adorable. But look at that Seven of Swords. But the one I'm looking for is, here it is. Here's the Two of Pentacles. Look how funny that is. He's juggling. I love that elephant hat. Elephant and trees I'm always attracted to. But he's like on a ball. He's on the beach. It's just like the Two of Pentacles is rocking it, man. So I liked her as the Two of Pentacles. The Three, this one made me think of It Takes a Village, you know, collaboration and all that. The Four, this was the Devil card. And I thought it was great for the Four of Pentacles because that's always a big, big warning. You know, watch, this was in my deck, winter is coming. Watch what's going out and what's coming in, because in the natural progression, it's trying to tell you that you may be expending more somewhere than you should. So I don't think it's being miserly, it's being mindful of what you're taking in versus what you're giving out. And that leads to the Five of Pentacles. And this one was the Hierophant, and I just could not get it. But it does fit for the Five of Pence for me, that being drained. And you can't keep feeding others if you're not fed yourself. If someone is bleeding you dry and getting most of what you have, it's not fair to the other people in your life. It's not fair to you. So this is my Five of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles. I loved this one because not only is it giving and generosity, the Six of Pentacles is a measured giving. Like before, if you look to the Four, that's not measured. A lot of times what happens is you're giving without getting, or you're giving to someone who doesn't deserve that much, you know? So I like how the Six is your imbalance and even your generosity is measured. And the last Seven of Pentacles. It just seemed like the right one. My Eight of Pentacles. This one, when I think of the Eight of Pentacles, I think of wisdom and experience. Yes, there's mentorship or being an apprentice, but this big tree just spoke of wisdom and experience to me. So that's my 8. She's my 9 of Pentacles. We had already mentioned the 10. There's my Page of Discs, my Knight of Discs. It was that boy on the tiger, but my husband is the Knight of Discs, and he's the doer. He's my rock. He's just everything to me. And so there is a lightning bolt on there, but it's the fire of the earth. This is the way I see the quartz. So he's my knight. There's my Queen of Pentacles and my King of Pentacles. So that's the whole deck for me. And the past couple days, as I've been using it with those associations, amazing. I can use it as a full true tarot deck now. And even though it wouldn't make sense to someone else, it makes perfect sense to me. And I do that a lot with when I take, I took all the borders and titles off this. This is my Tarot of Reflections, but I kept them in order because I really like the associations with this deck. I love this deck. That's the 4 of Pents right there. And then look at that 5. So this really isn't a good example because I've kept them all what they're supposed to be. But there are a couple other, I think it's the Fairy Lights Tarot. I'm not feeling it, but it's rare that when I do that, it has to become like an art deck or an oracle deck. It's very strange that I could do that and all 78 cards still fit, but just in different places. So I'd like to know if you guys did that with another deck, or if there's a deck that you think could work like that for you. And yeah, you can yell at me about how messed up my associations are if you want. Okay, now I'm going to get my stuff together to make the Oracle Obsessed tag and a couple new little things that I got in. So I hope everyone's having a great Sunday, or whatever day it is by the time you watch this, and I will talk to you soon. See ya.